Paralives has only been out for a little bit over a month and there are already so many patches and updates. Today I'm going to be covering everything that happened in the month of June, all the updates, all the patch notes, and anything else that is worth noting. Before I get started, of course, my name is Crystalline and I keep you updated with Paralives news as well as posting my own Paralives content. So if that's something that you would like to keep seeing more of, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Now let's go ahead and get started in today's video. Earlier in June, we got another patch update, which is really exciting to see that the devs are actually taking the time to fix the game, as they should be, of course. Let's go over the updates from patch 1.3, which also includes another collab, this time with the game Unpacking. Unpacking is another cozy game, and the whole premise of it being that you get to unpack your home and make it cute and cozy. I've never played it, but it does sound very fun. Some new additions into the game as of 1.3 is that paras will now be able to grab and eat portions as a group, and there will also now be teen romance, where teens can flirt and be in romantic relationships with other teens. There was also the addition of some new accessibility settings included in the settings, which will allow you to change the speed at which the trees move, and buildings will fade when they block out the view. I do love that they're taking players into consideration and making the game more accessible for those who need it. I remember hearing players complaining about the game giving them motion sickness, and while that isn't something that I experienced, I'm glad somebody else will be able to play more comfortably now. Now this patch update did include a wide range of improvements and fixes to enhance gameplay to various issues in the game, including the save system and audio, which has now been enhanced to reduce a chance of file corruption, and the audio has been fixed, and you'll no longer have the issue where voices of children and pre-teens are inaudible. There have also been some improvements to the billing system, as there were some issues before where bills were inflated due to excessive water consumption. You will also be able to use this telescope, which will now increase your para's astronomy skill, and townie requests will automatically fail if a townie has died. Your para will no longer teleport when canceling the go to work interaction, and in-game font now supports more characters, allowing modders to create multilingual mods, which is amazing for inclusivity. Now more players can play. There is also no longer the issue where you won't be able to play with more than 50 Steam Workshop mods, and my personal favorite fix is the train doors no longer hiding the height slider, because I found it very annoying. They also included some interface improvements and pathfinding. The devs fixed the issue with interface flickering the need ignored during fires, and they fixed the bug with ovens being inaccessible in tight spaces, and a pathfinding issue in Anissa's apartment and the hairdresser. Floor graffiti will also no longer block the interaction menu. This is not something that I saw, but I'm glad that they fixed it for those of you who did. Some other random fixes are such as paintings being able to be moved from the easel in build mode, and buildings will now fade out rather than just disappearing. They also fixed a glitch where NPCs cook frozen pizzas, and vending machines had small flag items. I don't really know what this means, but if somebody does, please let me know. There won't be a read book interaction anymore on empty bookshelves, and paras will now be able to sit on the lip bench. I had no idea that they couldn't sit on it to begin with, if I'm being honest, because I have not used that lip bench. They have also added more activities to raise the fun meter, such as playing games, dancing, and social media interactions. The camera will also no longer jump around when you use the height slider in the Paramaker, and this one also really bugged me. Now when watching TV, parafolk will now sit correctly on nearby couches, and they also fixed the save file bug, which was causing issues with the save file name length. I'm not too sure what this means, but I'm assuming maybe if you named your file too long, it would corrupt it. I'm not too sure. Now when it comes to the town hall, it can now correctly display high-skilled townies. This will allow your paras to compete against them and have a chance to have their own picture up. Trash bags will spawn immediately for the beach cleaning request and can be completed with visible trash even when zoomed out. Again, I'm not really sure what this means because I haven't played every aspect of the game yet, but if anybody knows, please let me know. Lastly, for patch update 1.3, they added more names to the Patreon credits, and the Modino wall sync is now functional. Okay, now the next update is patch 1.4, and some new additions to the game is that they improved the Steam Workshop tags for mod creators, where they can choose some options to enhance browsing. They will also have to do this for old mods, where they can just choose a setting after the mod has been made. You will now also be able to reset your settings to default setting with the new reset button, which I think will come in very handy for those of us who have been really messing with the settings. Some bug fixes from this patch were enhancements to reduce the risk of corrupted game files, and the addition of the loading mod screen when starting game up with mods. Previously, it would just freeze before loading, and I'm sure people just thought their game was bugging out. Meals will now autonomously go into the inventory if there is no counter space, and they also fixed an issue where paras would fail to grab a portion of food from the same group meal while doing a group interaction. They fixed the issue where a more closed shop was already loaded as if the player had visited when starting a new game. They also fixed an issue where flushing toilets would use too much water and raised the water bill. It won't be possible to perform an interaction with a para currently using stairs, and this is meant to prevent them from getting stuck. Also, eye bags and wrinkles will no longer be added to paras when randomizing an outfit, and they will now show their teeth when editing in the Paramaker. This update definitely had lots of gameplay bug fixes which I'm super excited for, such as paras no longer having the exclusive lovers label after a breakup, and they fixed a bug that prevented paras from practicing the triangle and community center food bundle, which now requires a group portion for cooked recipes instead of single portions, which will hopefully allow everyone to complete it faster. Trying for a baby will now be available if one parafolk can get pregnant and the other para can get others pregnant. This is not applicable for couples who do not meet that criteria, and they will get the want to adopt a baby interaction instead of try for a baby. So instead of getting a want to try for a baby, they will get a want to adopt a baby. Additionally, a mounted TV will no longer hide when the wall visibility is turned off, and they also fixed an issue where default underwear would randomly change color by themselves. Toddlers will no longer play kid animations, which was distorting their face, and they fixed a bug where paras would want to propose to a para they were already engaged to, or in a relationship with a para they were already in a relationship with. And additionally, when the 24-hour display mode is turned off, 12 AM will now be displayed correctly instead of 0 AM. Adult paras will now wait for toddlers to finish an interaction before picking them up, and this is meant to avoid animation issues. They fixed the bug that would make build mode furniture and items useless after being in the inventory, and paintings will no longer lose value after being in the inventory as well. Lastly, they adjusted camera edge scrolling, which will now stop when moving the cursor to a different monitor. And those of us who only have one monitor, we're not experiencing any bugs, so luckily for y'all, this has been fixed now. So they also warn us that sometimes save files can become corrupted, and it is something that they're working on finding a solution for. They also advise caution for some glitches that make the screen flash, so for those of you who have photosensitivity, please keep an eye out for that. Now let's move on to some regular updates for the month of June. In just 1 month of early access, the developers have sold over 1 million copies of Paralives. And they also shared some stats for the first month of early access. There have been 6 patches and hotfixes, 80,000 daily players, 11 hours average per player, 350,000 player feedbacks and bug reports, 22,000 Steam Workshop mods created, 170 reports of Naked Charlie, and a questionable number of players marrying or romancing Jason, which I have seen y'all are nasty, but I understand. And until July 9th, there's also going to be a 20% discount for Paralives, so for those of you who have been waiting for a sale, this may be your opportunity now to buy it for just $32. I believe it's $32.99 or $32. And lastly, they also share a Paralives X Aloft bundle, which is now available on Steam for purchase, for those of you who would like. Now, today's community corner is going to be a short one because I couldn't find very many interesting or funny comments under the post that I just read off, but one comment that stood out to me was somebody who said they really shouldn't have made the hottest pre-made para be married, and I have to agree because the way that y'all were breaking up marriages had me hooting and hollering. And I can't even be mad because I understand, I would have done it too. Anywho, that is all for now. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment, and until next time, have a good prayer life.